the greatest thing that happened to me yesterday was meeting the fans and seeing them come out in force for justice for Michael. And there's a real belief that Michael was wronged, not only by the doctor, but now it's being wronged by the system. And I think the idea that everybody still loves him and maybe loves him more than ever and wants to make sure that they protect his legacy and his name is, a testament to the person he really was and his ability to change lives and really make people happy and sing and dance and all the things that Michael Jackson's known for. It's part of me, though, really, and I tried, and speaking with certain fans and also even with Geraldine Hughes, who I admire as a writer, but who I really beg to differ with in terms of the charges and the investigation. She claims that there's more to this investigation that's not being done by the police deliberately so that to hurt Michael. And I don't have that sinister sensibility about the police here in LA. I believe that they have done and will do all that they can to investigate Dr. Murray and Michael's death. And I also think that the charges brought against Conrad Murray, while they may seem light, as I said to people yesterday in the steps of the courthouse, if they were to charge Conrad Murray with a second-degree murder and one juror were to say, I just can't bring myself to absolutely positive, behind a shadow of a doubt, say that Dr. Murray deliberately and with malice aforethought killed Michael Jackson. If one person were to think that in a jury deliberation room, Dr. Murray would walk free. And the LADA knows that and really wants a conviction here and really wants to make an example of Conrad Murray and doesn't want to let this man have a medical license nor have an ability to do any harm to any others and to put him behind bars. And that's the goal. Whether or not it is the sentence that people would like or whether or not it is a harsh enough sentence for Dr. Conrad Murray, I think the universe will take care of that in time with Dr. Murray. I think Dr. Murray has to answer to a higher source than just the court system. But for in the real world purposes, from my perspective, being a person who works in the court system for most of my career, I can only say that if you overcharge a defendant and you bring it to a jury, someone on a jury will get squeamish and say, I just can't, bring myself to find this person guilty of such charge. And if that were to be the case, Dr. Murray would face, no punishment at all. So I find myself not at odds with the fans, but just trying to give them a little bit more of a sense of practicality about what can be done in the justice system for Michael's sake, for justice, and I have to also say to remember for everybody that's been there and was with me, and part of this is that at the end of the day, we still have all lost Michael, and that I think one of the fans said it best. What we really want to see is no more entertainers who are blessed and gifted be enabled by these quack doctors to become, drug addicts and or, just become dazed by way of quack doctory. And it's happened to Elvis, it's happened to Marilyn Monroe, it's happened to Michael Jackson. We can list off, many, many celebrities, that became enabled by either their handlers and or mostly doctors who, this is practice has got to stop. We can't, these people are icons, they're examples for our children and for our societies, and people look up to them, and we have to find a way that these doctors need to, own up to their Hippocratic oath and become the doctors they're supposed to be and take medical care of patients, no matter who they are, and not let money and fame get in the way of, someone's health and well-being. And so, with that regard, seeing Dr. Murray yesterday in court, I watched him, I focused on him. I saw the family really couldn't face him. Catherine was crying inside the courtroom. It was very bad for me. Janet was comforting her mother, wiping the tears away with a handkerchief. And Dr. Murray was, in essence, very stoic, facing the wall, not looking anywhere, knowing that he was, in essence, the subject of a lot of hate and clearly he knows that he's almost a marked man in a sense, not just by the law, but by the fans. I think someone yelled out murder to him in the hallway. There's a sense with Conrad Murray that this is a man who is now carrying a huge burden on his shoulders, because it seemed to me, in my opinion, he seemed to look like he was ashamed. Now, that could be my interpretation, or it could be real, but that was what the sense I got out of him sitting in the courtroom with him. So, and he should be ashamed if he is not ashamed, because he did something that was highly, highly negligible and criminal and should be punished, and I believe he will be behind bars for some period of time and made an example of.